Okay, so chapter 44.
Yeah, this is my corner tea bar. It's chapter 44 of the Tao Te Ching. And this cake we're drinking today, everyone's drinking the same, just that she wanted her own individual setup there.
Dose.
It's called On Taoism by by Oriental Leaf Tea. Is a Fu Zhuan, right? So it's kind of like the perfect companion to what we're doing. So chapter 44.
Your name or your body? What is closer, your name or your body? What is better, your body or your goods? Which is worse, gain or loss? So intense liking surely means great expenditure. Much hoarding surely means great loss. If you know what's enough, you won't be disgraced. If you know when to stop, you won't be endangered. Thereby you can last long.
So I think what happens is that we didn't record last time we had tea last weekend, but we did 44.
Yeah.
When we all the three of us discussed it.
I agree. But I'm confused because, like you said, they talk about a lot of the same stuff. So I'm like, wait a minute, what?
No, it's just that we did that last time.
Here's another translation. Fame or integrity, which is more important? Money or happiness, which is more valuable? Success or failure, which is more destructive? Wow, I really like this one. If you look at others for fulfillment, you will never truly be fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Oof, that's a good one. All right, one more. Here we go. Fame or integrity, which is more important? Money or happiness, which is more valuable? Success or failure, which is more destructive? If you look to others for fulfillment, you will never truly be fulfilled. If your happiness depends on money, you will never be happy with yourself. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you.
Yeah, it's a form of resistance. It's like the thing of Wu Wei is more of a passive flowing, which doesn't mean don't do anything, but it just means work more with nature, the natural flow of things, on what's in front of you and stuff, right? Instead of trying to do something that is like difficult to achieve. But in a way, I think I did a video earlier about the word happiness being a curse, because once we create this in our heads that there is something such as happiness, it turns it into a goal we pursue, and then we try. It's like what Yoda said:
Do or do not.
Do or do not. There is no try. Like that. Yeah. So then we start trying, but we're not happy because we're trying to be happy or something.
Well, putting it outside of yourself, putting it as something to reach, you're not there yet. You're not there. You don't have it. You think like, oh, I've got to get it. But it's like, it says, when you realize there's nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. There is nothing to get. There's nowhere to go.
So would it be better to say nothing belongs to me? Really, it's all borrowed. You're gonna die. You're not taking anything underground.
That's true. When you realize there is nothing lacking, it says the whole world belongs to you, or it's like it does, or I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So when there's so basically the perspective is talking about having the perspective of lack. A lot of people exist in
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
perspective
Yeah.
of lack, and that creates um, two things. One, in my opinion, right, of course, it creates that emptiness and the self-obsession because you're constantly like existing in this like vacuum, right? So the ego is like a crust, and the more than the ego grows, the bigger the void within, and it is basically what will appease my ego, the desire of something that is not there.
That isn't.
Yeah. So it's like stop moving, you know.
Well, no, I like what you're saying. So there's the ego, and it says, be content with what you have, rejoice in the way things are. So it's basically wanting something that isn't here. Wanting something that isn't right now is an ego thing, is ego, versus rejoice in the way things are. Can you rejoice in the way things are? That's no ego. There's nothing outside of you to reach, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's like Spinoza will call hunger an affect because it affects you, and it's a natural desire because you need to eat to survive, right? But then we can, because of our psyche, because of our mind, and how language, is good, but it also like is a double-edged sword. It allows us to really truly believe and embrace things that are not.
That don't
So
exist, imaginary things.
yeah, like the future or the past,
Yeah.
and things that we think are gonna make us better. Like so, like relationships in which people fall in love with a project of a person. They see someone, they don't
Oh,
care
they
how
were
they are,
different.
but they'll be like, but it would be great if I can change him into that. Sounds like all women, most of them.
Yep, yep, yep,
Um,
yep. I admit it, yes.
yeah, so it creates this frustration to the nature of the whatever it is. So it's simple. Basically, it's just talking about a perspective because it is only in your hands. Really, like stoicism, to know how you feel about something. Not really the something. The something it is what it is, but how you interact and emotionally with it is on you, right? And also like makes me think about memento mori and the fact that whenever you remember that you're gonna die, you're not taking anything with you. It makes you think back and say like, did I spend the time that I was alive doing things that were worth it? Would you die with a smile after like it's like, oh yeah, I totally screwed over all these people and I became rich and now I can die in peace? Maybe some people really believe that and that's how they're gonna go. I don't know.
Success or failure, which is more destructive? Success builds up your ego, builds up your idea of yourself, and failure destroys the idea of yourself. You're like, I'm nothing. I got nothing to hold on to. Um,
So yesterday when I was doing carpentry, we were talking about I was basically like doing miters, and this wood is a light colored cherry, but it's being stained very dark. So when you're doing a miter, and even if it's perfect, there is like a slight off from the miter, you will see the very light color of the wood on the edge, and it pops worse than a hairline dark, um, gap or whatever. So what I was doing is I had a dab of the stain, and I would stain all the edge of every miter that I was cutting. So then when I put them together, they were dark, and you wouldn't see really, like especially up there, you couldn't see that there was any discrepancy on anything because things move. So wood is also going to move with time, regardless of what I do. So I have to think about nature and how nature flows, and it moves beyond my intention temporarily right there when I'm there doing something with it, it's gonna do its own thing. And one of the guys was like, wow, that's, like a lot of wisdom right there. You know, uh, the craftsmanship and whatever. And it was like, really what it is, man, is that I've made the same mistake so many times during 21 years of doing this that I know that if I bring the solution before the problem arises, I've won a war without having to
Without any
shoot
damage.
anyone, right?
Yeah.
So I went into battle winning before the battle, basically,
Yeah.
like Sun Tzu, right? So that is kind of the idea there, right? Is that you you can actually um, like acquire a lot from failure, right? So all the times that I cut and fucking screwed and like
I
put
like
everything,
that point.
clean everything, and then I'm like leaving and I look up and I see this like popping like eyesore miter that has this line, and I'm like, gee, so now what I do? Then I try to fill it up with wax and this and that, and you just can't do it. And if it moves a little bit later, because of nature and temperature and expansion and contraction of wood, they're gonna see that gap. They're gonna see that little bit that I couldn't get in there. But if I had stained the miter before putting it together, they're not gonna see that ever.
But do you see, that's what wisdom is. It's a lot of previous failures.
So failure
So
brings
success or failure, which is more destructive. It's like, well, all your failures is what gave you the wisdom.
Mistakes are an opportunity to learn.
all mistakes are an opportunity to learn, and man's not determined because of his mistakes. He's determined by the way he deals with them, right? Man, I got so many cheesy things to say. I'm like a dictionary of cheesy stuff to say, but I'll say this.
But you should welcome the mistakes. You should welcome the failures and be like, oh, good.
Yeah.
This is making me more wise. Here we go.
Exactly. And one thing that I want to point out about the way we read these things and all of that, it is a riddle, but it's not a riddle that is looking for an answer. It's more of a riddle of questions and being able to ponder into a question. So the last thing you're reading is like either or, which one is, but it really doesn't want an answer, because success can be good too in its own way. But is it
It's how
only
you do it.
success
It's
what
how
is
you
good?
do it. Yeah.
Or is it only
That's true.
failure
That's
that is
true.
good?
That's true. So like you're like, I'm failing. This must be bad. And you're like, no, there's a different way to look at it here. And success can be bad for you too. Both can be bad. It's how you do it. It's how you do it. So
or things that happen in life too. For example, that farmer story where one of his horses escaped, and then the neighbors came and they were like, oh, it's so bad that you lost your horses. And then the horse came back with like 6 wild horses, and the neighbors came and they were like, oh,
that's great.
that's
You're so
great,
lucky.
it's so awesome that you have all these horses now. He said, well, maybe. So the first time he said maybe, and then this time he also said maybe. And then his son, when they were trying to teach the horses to let them ride, was kicked out of the horse and fell and broke his leg. And the neighbors came and was like, oh, that's so bad that your son broke his leg. And he said, well, maybe. And then the army came and conscripted all the young men in the village, but they left his son behind because he had a broken leg. And then the village people came again and was like, well, that's so good that your kid was left behind because of the thing. And he said, maybe, right? So it is up to us always, in our minds, to assign a positive or negative value to
Attachment
everything.
or aversion. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that the white part of the yin yang sign means good, but it's not. It's just the opposite force of the constant flow of an empty cup to a full cup, to an empty cup to a full cup, and it just keeps going. So the tea is not going anywhere but me. I'm the other cup, and it just keeps flowing from the kettle to the guy, to the guy one, to the cup. To me, it is always like a breathing. In the first layer of this, the Tao is the two, right? Then we need to learn the three and the four and the fifth,
So
sixth level.
that's why the line, I just think, be content with what you have, rejoice in the way things are. You cannot go wrong with, like, there is no need to resist what is. If you're resisting what is, there's a, you're making a mistake, I guess. You'll realize there's nothing lacking. There's nothing lacking. Rejoice in the way things are. Resisting what is.
Yeah, and
It's a mistake.
Well, it more than a mistake. I think is telling you like there's an action and reaction, right? So there's gonna be a wave back from swinging the pendulum that way. It's gonna come back this other way. So if you resist that way, then it's gonna be this other, and you resist that way.
Or the
it's gonna be
same
this
thing
other.
can be over there.
Yeah.
So thinking like, oh, this is not good, I'm going to go over there. And it's like, well, no, the same mistakes can be made, or the same.
Because you can take it all the way to not doing anything but eating like nothing. Just do nothing. I'm okay. I'm a homeless person. Is that
That's
good?
got problems.
So where is your level, right? I mean, to a lot of people, maybe the way we live is too much. Maybe for other people, the way we live is like
too little.
Too little. Like we're dirty or whatever. Like cleaning. The way we clean and maintain things clean is for some people too much. For some people, it's not enough. How do you know? I don't know. When I feel content. If I am regretting having to clean and like this and that, and if at that point it's not good. But if I am enjoying the process of maintaining things clean and organized and actually like see the result of that, that's content, that's good. But if I have to fight with people, and all that, so I have to remove myself for what doesn't work for me, I guess, right? So there is a balance. If it creates conflict, then there is an imbalance. If it creates unhappiness, and if it creates, or too much, if you're too histrionic, like laughing, you have to be like, oh, what's coming from there? Like someone reaching out for you too much and being like, oh, like you're so no fucking no, you 2 weeks in, and they're like, I love you and shit, and then, and then what's coming from there? Is it all gonna be like that, or there's gonna be a big, like dump fall or whatever? So it's important to remember the song from Bob Marley. I don't like you to rock my boat because I don't like it rocking, right, or something like that. Because it's better to just make little increments towards gain, steady increments towards gain that don't really like have a hit as a loss, right? In my opinion, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Who knows? Who's to judge? Maybe.
Well, I think keeping a house clean to the standards of the people you live with is also important. If the people you live with are mad about the mess, you should be like, all right, I'm gonna turn up the dial and be cleaner.
Yeah, because we can adapt. We're human beings, right?
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. It's like we can adapt to things too. It's not the Tao is not saying like we are immovable. There is a nature to human nature, and you just have to find what that is. And no, you just have to find yours. But still, don't be a dick, right? So anyhow, that seems satisfactory for me. And again, we're drinking OrientalLeaf.com's on Taoism, Fu Zhuan, black label. There are 3 labels: red, yellow, and black. We'll have them all, man. I'm gonna have this. These are good. So does that taste to you as a red tea, as a heicha? What kind of tea would you put it on? A green tea, a white tea?
Oh, I don't even know.
The 100% for me is
I
Hongcha.
don't even know. It's super bitter. I
Super
need
bitter,
to
really?
go eat something. I'm like,
Super bitter. I don't find it bitter at all.
Yeah.
Like maybe you brewed it for too long.
I probably did.
Yeah. Anyways, talking about that.
If I haven't eaten breakfast, I drink tea like this, I start to get nauseated.
Yeah, I need to eat something. So that's something that happens to me only with Hongcha.
Okay. Which is red tea?
Yep.